Perfect. Here's a full bio set on Mary Marvel, Frederick Freeman, Billy Batson, New Earth and Earth S, and the Marvel family. DC bios, the Marvel Shazam family. Billy Batson, New Earth. Hero name, Captain Marvel, later known as Shazam. Real name, William Joseph Billy Batson. Height, weight, 5'6" as Billy, 6'1" plus as Captain Marvel, 130 pounds Billy, 225 pounds Marvel. Powers. Magical transformation by shouting Shazam. Gains powers of 6 mythological figures. Solomon, wisdom. Hercules, strength. Atlas, stamina. Zeus, power, lightning. Achilles, courage. Mercury, speed, flight. Origin, orphan boy living in Fawcett City, chosen by the wizard Shazam to become Earth's mightiest mortal. First appearance as Billy Batson, Captain Marvel, Wiz Comics number 2, 1940. Billy Batson, Earth S, pre-crisis. Hero name.
Okay, I had it fix people. I want them to give the first. If I give like a Pacific version, like New Earth, I want them to say like what version that version appeared in for what comic that version appeared in. Not what they actually first appeared.
Let's dive into the Marvel Shazam corner of DC. I'll separate by character and list their version-specific first appearances, like you asked. Hacked DC bios, Marvel family. Mary Marvel, real name, Mary Batson, sometimes Mary Bromfield in modern versions. Height, weight, 5'5", 130 pounds, powers. When she says Shazam, Mary gains the powers of 6 mythological figures. Solomon, wisdom. Hercules, strength. Atlas, stamina. Zeus, power, lightning. Achilles, courage. Mercury, speed, flight. Origin, Mary was revealed to be Billy Batson's twin sister. Gifted with a share of the wizard Shazam's power, she becomes Mary Marvel, one of the first prominent female superheroes. First appearance, Captain Marvel Adventures number 18, Fawcett Comics, Decca 1942. Frederick Freddie Freeman, Captain Marvel Jr. Height, weight, 5'6", 140 pounds. Powers, gains the same powers of Shazam when he speaks the name Captain Marvel. He is unique in that saying his own hero name transforms him back to Freddy. Origin, Freddy was crippled during a battle between Captain Marvel and Captain Nazi. Billy and Mary convinced the wizard Shazam to share powers with Freddy, transforming him into Captain Marvel Jr. First appearance, Wiz Comics in 25, Decca 1941. Billy Batson, New Earth. Height, weight, 5'4", as Billy, 6'0", as Captain Marvel. 120 pounds, 215 pounds. Powers, transforms into Captain Marvel by speaking Shazam. Gaining magical might, wisdom of Solomon, strength of Hercules, stamina of Atlas, power of Zeus, courage of Achilles, speed of Mercury. Origin, New Earth. After the Crisis events, Billy's continuity was reset. He is a young boy chosen by the wizard Shazam to be Earth's champion, defender against mystical and superpowered threats. First appearance as New Earth version, Crisis on Infinite Earths number 12, 1986, cameo, and Fully in Legends number 1, 1986. Billy Batson, Earth Fawcett Comics original. Height, weight, same as New Earth version, though depictions vary. Origin, Earth S. Billy, a homeless orphan newsboy, encountered the wizard Shazam in an underground chamber. Given the magic word Shazam, he became Captain Marvel, the world's mightiest mortal. This version is the original Golden Age hero. First appearance, Wiz Comics number 2, Fawcett Comics, Feb 1940. The Marvel family, members. Captain Marvel, Billy Batson, Mary Marvel, Mary Batson, Captain Marvel Jr., Freddie Freeman, later joined by Uncle Marvel, Dudley H. Dudley, and the Lieutenants Marvels, Tall, Fat, and Hillbilly. Powers, collectively share the magic of Shazam, flight, invulnerability, strength, magic lightning, super speed, and wisdom. Origin, when Billy's secret was revealed to Mary and Freddie, the wizard allowed them to share his power, forming a family of champions who often battled together against villains like Black Adam, Dr. Savannah, and Mr. Mind. First appearance, Captain Marvel Adventures number 18, Decca 1942. Fun fact, the Earth S designation, pre-crisis, was created to house the Fawcett-era stories when DC acquired the characters, separating them from the main DCU until Crisis on Infinite Earths merged everything. Do you want me to also... Got it. Let's break down the Green Arrow family legacy across Earth 2, New Earth, and his allies. Tack DC bios. the Oliver Queen, Earth 2, alias Green Arrow. Height, weight, 5'11", 180 pounds. Powers, abilities, Master Archer, peak human conditioning, skilled hand-to-hand combatant, uses trick arrows, boxing glove, explosive grappling, etc. Origin, the Earth 2 version of Oliver Queen first appeared during the Golden Age. He was a wealthy playboy who, with his ward Roy Harper, Speedy, fought crime using archery. His stories were set apart from Earth 1 until Crisis on Infinite Earths. First appearance, More Fun Comics number 73, Nov 1941. Oliver Queen, New Earth, alias Green Arrow. Height, weight, 6'2", 195 pounds. Powers, abilities, Master Archer with near superhuman accuracy, martial artist, acrobat, tactician, weapons specialist, uses a variety of specialized trick arrows. Origin, New Earth, the definitive post-crisis Green Arrow. Billionaire Oliver Queen was stranded on an island, or sometimes a desert setting, after a boating accident. Surviving with only his bow and arrows, he honed his skills and, upon return to civilization, used them to fight crime as Green Arrow. Known for his liberal politics and street-level crusades alongside Black Canary. First appearance, as New Earth version, Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters, number 1, 1987. Dinah Drake, alias, the original Black Canary, height, weight, 5'7", 130 pounds, powers, abilities. Initially no superpowers. Later versions attributed her with the Canary Cry, a sonic scream. Trained martial artist and expert in judo. Origin, Dinah Drake was a florist by day who donned a blonde wig and fishnet costume to fight crime. She worked with the Justice Society of America and was romantically tied to Larry Lance. First appearance, Flash Comics number 86, Aug 1947. Dinah Laurel Lance, New Earth, alias Black Canary, daughter of Dinah Drake and Larry Lance in Pre-Crisis, reimagined in New Earth as Dinah Drake's daughter and legacy bearer. Height, weight, 5'7", 130 pounds. Powers, abilities, inherited the Canary Cry, a high-powered sonic scream capable of shattering objects and incapacitating foes. Also one of DC's top martial artists, trained by Wildcat and others. Origin, New Earth. Laurel grew up idolizing her mother and chose to follow in her footsteps. As the modern Black Canary, she became a longtime partner and love interest of Oliver Queen, New Earth. She served as a founding member of the Birds of Prey and briefly led the Justice League. First appearance as New Earth version, Justice League of America number 219 to 220, 1983, confirming her legacy role. Team Arrow, members Green Arrow Oliver Queen, Black Canary, Dinah Laurel Lance, Speedy Arsenal, Roy Harper, later joined by Mia Dearden, Speedy 2, Emiko Queen, and in modern adaptations characters like John Diggle and Felicity Smoke. Abilities. Each member brings unique skills: archery mastery, martial arts, detective work, hacking, and field leadership. Origin. Though not always called Team Arrow in the comics, Oliver frequently worked with partners. In adaptations like Arrow, CW 2012, the concept solidified as a formal team dedicated to protecting Star City from crime, corruption, and larger-than-life threats. First comic appearance, as an informal team. The grouping evolved organically, but Green Arrow and Speedy as a duo debuted together in More Fun Comics number 73, 1941. The modern team concept became explicit in later comics and adaptations. Fun note, Earth 2 Oliver and Dinah were eventually retconned into being older, married heroes, while New Earth Oliver and Dinah became one of DC's most iconic power couples. Do you want me to also cover Roy Harper, Speedy Arsenal / Arrow? Perfect choice. Let's dive into the Flash family legacy. DC Bios, The Flash Legacy. Jay Garrick, alias The Flash, Golden Age. Height, weight, 6'0", 195 pounds. Powers, abilities, super speed, speed healing, dimensional travel, enhanced reflexes, draws from the Speed Force, a later addition to his lore. Origin, a college student in Keystone City, Jay inhaled hard water vapors during a lab accident. The incident gave him superhuman speed, and he became the first costumed speedster hero, donning a winged metal helmet reminiscent of Mercury. He fought crime solo and as a founding member of the Justice Society of America. First appearance, Flash Comics number 1, Jan 1940. Hesh, Barry Allen, New Earth, alias The Flash, Silver Bronze Age, New Earth era. Height, weight, 6'0", 195 pounds. Powers, abilities. Speed Force connection granting super speed, time travel, phasing through objects, molecular control, and accelerated healing. Known for creating the Speed Force itself. Origin, New Earth. Barry was a forensic scientist in Central City. A freak accident involving a lightning bolt and chemicals gave him his speed. Inspired by Jay Garrick comics, he adopted the Flash identity. His heroism inspired the entire Flash legacy, and his sacrifice during Crisis on Infinite Earths made him a legend, later resurrected in Final Crisis. First appearance as New Earth version, Showcase number 4, Octa 1956. Wally West, New Earth, alias Kid Flash, originally The Flash, height, weight, 5'11", 175 pounds, powers, abilities. Speed Force powers like Barry, but later surpassed him in raw speed and versatility. Known for his deep connection to the Speed Force and ability to lend take speed. Origin, New Earth. Wally was Barry Allen's nephew by marriage, Iris's nephew. Visiting Barry's lab, he was struck by a nearly identical accident, granting him speed. He became Kid Flash, later taking on the mantle of the Flash after Barry's death in Crisis on Infinite Earths. For years, Wally was the main Flash of the DC Universe, defining the role for a new generation. First appearance as Kid Flash, The Flash Number 10, Decca 1959. Bart Allen, New Earth, alias Impulse, Kid Flash, The Flash, briefly. Height, weight, 5'7", 145 pounds. Powers, abilities. Speed Force powers with hyper-accelerated metabolism. Initially struggled with patience, earning the codename Impulse. Trained into maturity by Max Mercury, Jay Garrick, and Wally West. Origin, New Earth. Bart was the grandson of Barry Allen from the 30th century. Born with hyper-accelerated growth due to his connection to the Speed Force, he was raised in virtual reality until Iris West brought him back in time to help control his powers. He became Impulse, later Kid Flash, and eventually served as the Flash before his death and later resurrection. First appearance as Impulse, The Flash Number 91, June 1994, cameo, The Flash in 92, July 1994, full. The Flash family core members: Jay Garrick, Barry Allen, Wally West, Bart Allen, Max Mercury, Jex S, Jenny Ognitz, Iris West II, Wallace West, and more. Abilities. Nearly all members draw power from the Speed Force, giving them variations of super speed. They're unique among DC legacies in that they treat their mantle as a family role rather than isolated identities. Origin. Starting with Jay Garrick in the 1940s, the mantle of Flash grew into one of DC's most important legacies. Barry Allen's debut revitalized superheroes in the Silver Age. Wally carried the torch after Barry's sacrifice, and Bart brought youthful energy as Impulse. Together, they form a multi-generational speedster dynasty, often teaming up to fight cosmic threats that only speedsters can stop. First comic appearance as a group legacy idea. While individual Flashes had appeared earlier, the idea of a Flash family coalesced during The Flash, Volume 2, in the late 1980s-90s, especially under Wally West's era. Max Mercury and Wallace West into this Flash family bio for a more complete roster. Got it. Here's a detailed set of bios covering the Justice League, some key Earth 2 heroes, the Mystic Swamp Thing, and the eerie figures Cain and Abel from DC's Supernatural Corner. Hammer DC bios, Legends and Mystics. Justice League, aliases Justice League of America, Justice League International, Justice League Dark, various eras teams. Founding members: Silver Age, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Barry Allen, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter. Purpose: Earth's premier superhero team, formed to battle threats too great for any one hero. They embody unity among DC's greatest champions. Base of operations: Hall of Justice, Earth, Watchtower, Satellite HQ in space. First appearance: The Brave and the Bold, number 28, March 1960. Origin: when Starro the Conqueror first threatened Earth, the world's heroes united to stop him. Their success led to the permanent founding of the League. Across universes and timelines, the Justice League stands as the ultimate line of defense against global, intergalactic, and even multiversal threats. Richard Dick Grayson, Earth 2, alias Robin, later Batman, briefly after Bruce's death. Height, weight, 5'10", 175 pounds. Powers, abilities: peak athleticism, detective skills, mastery of martial arts, acrobatics, leadership. Origin: on Earth 2, the Golden Age continuity world. Dick Grayson was Batman's first and only Robin. Unlike Earth 1 New Earth Dick, he never became Nightwing. He aged alongside Bruce Wayne, eventually becoming a respected statesman and continuing his crime-fighting career well into adulthood. After Bruce's death, Dick honored his mentor by donning a modified version of the Batman costume. First appearance as Robin, Earth 2 continuity, Detective Comics number 38, April 1940. Bruce Wayne, alias Batman, height, weight, 6'2", 210 pounds, powers, abilities, genius-level intellect, peak human physical conditioning, master detective, martial artist, tactician. Origin, much like his Earth 1 New Earth counterpart, Bruce's parents were murdered in front of him, leading him to become Batman. On Earth 2, however, Bruce's story followed a real-time progression. He aged, married Selina Kyle, Catwoman, and fathered Helena Wayne, the Huntress. Eventually, he retired from being Batman before sacrificing himself during a final battle. First appearance, Golden Age Batman Earth 2, Detective Comics number 27, May 1939. Swamp Thing, Alec Holland, alias the Swamp Thing Earth Elemental, height, weight, variable, often 700 plus, 500 plus pounds, powers, abilities, control over plant life, chlorokinesis, regeneration, strength, elemental shape-shifting, immortality, as long as the green exists, connection to the Parliament of Trees. Origin, scientist Alec Holland was caught in a lab explosion involving his bio-restorative formula. Fleeing into the swamp, his body merged with the swamp's plant life. At first believing himself to be a man transformed into a monster, Alec eventually learned the truth. He was a plant elemental imbued with Holland's memories, destined to serve as guardian of the green. First appearance, House of Secrets of Secret 2, July 1971. Kane and aliases, caretakers of the House of Mystery, Kane and House of Secrets, Abel. Height, weight, variable, appear as mortal men but are immortal figures of myth. Powers, abilities, immortality, symbolic representation of their biblical roles, Kane as eternal murderer, Abel as eternal victim. Both serve as narrators' hosts in DC's horror and supernatural comics. Origin, introduced in DC's anthology horror series of the 1960s, Cain and Abel are based on the biblical brothers. Cain is cursed to forever slay Abel, who is cursed to forever be resurrected. In Neil Gaiman's Sandman series, their roles expanded. Cain became Keeper of the House of Mystery, Abel of the House of Secrets, both existing in the Dreaming under Morpheus. Their cycle of violence continues, but they also act as guides and storytellers within the DC supernatural universe. First appearances, Cain House of Mystery number 175, July 1968. Abel, DC Special number 4, July Sept 1969. Fun fact, Cain is often depicted with Gregory, his pet gargoyle, while Abel is known for his timid stammer and his bond with Goldie, his pet baby gargoyle, a gift from Cain. Would you like me to expand the Justice League section to include their major storylines and roster shifts? JLI, JLD, New 52, etc.? Or keep it at the classic Origins level? Perfect! Here's a set of detailed bios for the companies, games, and products you mentioned. Hack bios, games, brands, and icons. Cannonball board game, Blue and Gray, publisher Milton Bradley, 1960s. Concept, a Civil War-themed strategy board game, originally marketed as Blue and Gray, the Civil War game. It was later rebranded in some releases as Cannonball. Gameplay, players choose to play as the Union, Blue, or the Confederacy, Gray, moving armies across a board patterned after a U.S. map. The object is to capture the opponent's capital. Dice rolls and cannonballs, small ball bearings or tokens, determine the outcomes of battles. Legacy, one of several war-themed board games of the mid-20th century. While dated in presentation, it reflected Milton Bradley's interest in strategy and historical simulation games. Gold Crown board game, publisher Milton Bradley, 1960s to 1970s. Concept, a medieval-themed abstract strategy game. Players competed for dominance on a grid-like board, using different pieces with unique moves, similar in inspiration to chess and checkers. Gameplay. The objective was to capture the opponent's crown piece while protecting one's own. The simple yet tactical mechanics gave it replay value, though it never reached the mainstream success of chess variants. Legacy. While obscure today, it represents Milton Bradley's experimental phase of producing thematic strategy games. Astrolabe Inc., Type Company, 1960s to 1970s, industry, educational toys and games. Notable work, produced astronomy-themed kits and educational toys centered on navigation, celestial charts, and early science learning. The name derived from the astrolabe, an ancient astronomical tool used to solve problems relating to time and the position of the stars. Legacy. Though not as prominent as Milton Bradley or Parker Brothers, Astrolabe Inc. contributed to the wave of educational play products during the space age, when fascination with science and space exploration surged. Razzles, candy gum. Tagline, first it's candy, then it's gum. Invented 1966 by Fleer Candy Company. Description, Razzles start as small, fruit-flavored candy tablets that transform into chewing gum as they are chewed. The name Razzles came from a once-planned flavor, Razzleberry. Flavors, originally offered in raspberry, now available in lemon, orange, grape, and tropical assortments. Cultural impact. Featured in movies like 13 Going on 30, Razzles are a nostalgic novelty candy still sold today under Tootsie Roll Industries. Hostess Brands, founded 1919 as Continental Baking Company. Famous products, Twinkies, Ding Dongs, Ho-Hos, Cupcakes, Donettes, Snowballs, Zingers. History. Hostess rose to prominence in the mid-20th century as America's premier snack cake brand. Despite financial troubles leading to bankruptcy in 2012, Hostess was revived by new ownership in 2013, relaunching many classic products. Legacy. Hostess remains iconic in American snack culture, with its Twinkie often referenced in pop culture as the quintessential junk food. Baseball cards. Origins. Late 19th century, originally packaged with tobacco products, e.g., T206 Honus Wagwagner is one of the most valuable. Rise. In the 1930s, 1950s, companies like Gowdy and Bowman popularized modern baseball card collecting. By the 1950s, Topps dominated the industry, producing player portraits, stats, and trivia on cards packaged with bubblegum. Golden Era. The 1980s to 1990s card boom saw mass production, leading to millions of collectors. Modern Era. While oversaturation reduced value for many cards, rare vintage cards remain highly prized in the collector's market. Cards today often include autographs, jersey swatches, and limited prints. Cultural significance. Baseball cards are not just collectibles, they're snapshots of America's pastime and sports history. Walt Disney World, location Bay Lake and Lake Buena Vista, Florida, opened October 1st, 1971. Founder, Walt Disney Company, original vision by Walt Disney, completed under Roy O. Disney. Size, 25,000 plus acres, about the size of San Francisco. The largest theme park resort in the world. Key parks, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disney's Animal Kingdom. Resorts and attractions, 25 plus resort hotels, water parks, Typhoon Lagoon, Blizzard Beach, shopping and dining, Disney Springs. Legacy. Walt Disney World is considered the most magical place on Earth, blending storytelling, themed lands, immersive attractions, and Disney characters. It revolutionized theme parks by creating a multi-park, multi-day vacation destination. Would you like me to also include toy company context for Milton Bradley and Parker Brothers, since they were behind some of the board games you mentioned, like Cannonball and Gold Crown, to give the bios a fuller historical arc? Here's a detailed set of bios for the Batman-related characters and groups you requested. Enchanted Batman Rogues and Allies? Bios. The Grim Knight, Dark Multiverse. First appearance, The Batman Who Laughs #1, 2019. Universe, Dark Multiverse, Earth, negative. Bio. The Grim Knight is a brutal alternate version of Batman who uses lethal methods. In his reality, young Bruce Wayne picked up Joe Chill's gun after his parents murdered and executed the criminal on the spot. This act set him on a path as the deadliest Dark Knight of the Dark Multiverse. Traits and weapons. Armed with guns, explosives, and military-grade tech, the Grim Knight is often called Batman if he were the Punisher. He believes in eliminating crime permanently through murder. Role in DC. He served as one of the Batman Who Laughs' most trusted enforcers during Dark Knight's Metal and the Batman Who Laughs. Jervis Tetch. Mad Hatter, Prime Earth. First appearance, Batman #49, 1948. Bio. Jervis Tetch is a scientist obsessed with Alice's adventures in Wonderland. He is infamous for his mind control devices, often hidden inside hats, cards, or tea party setups. His fragile psyche leaves him delusional, frequently believing he's living in Carol's fantasy world. Abilities: genius-level mind control technology, manipulation, and psychological warfare. Notable feats: has brainwashed Gotham's citizens, politicians, and even members of the Bat family. Legacy: despite his eccentricity, Mad Hatter is one of Gotham's most dangerously unpredictable criminals. Court of Owls. First appearance, Batman Volume 2, Number 3, 2011. Bio: a secret society of Gotham's wealthy elite, the Court of Owls has existed for centuries, manipulating the city from the shadows. Their assassins, called Talons, are reanimated killers preserved with a rare chemical compound. Motto: beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time. Notable storyline: they debuted during Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman The New 52 run, challenging Batman's belief that he understood Gotham's history. Legacy: they embody Gotham's dark past and its corrupt power structures. Robin. First appearance as Robin, Detective Comics number 38, 1940. Bio: Dick Grayson was a circus acrobat whose parents were murdered by mobster Tony Zuko. Bruce Wayne adopted him, training him as the first Robin. Together, they formed the original dynamic duo. Traits: athleticism, acrobatics, detective skills, leadership. Legacy: Dick eventually grew out of Robin's shadow to become Nightwing, establishing himself as one of DC's most respected heroes and leaders. Impact: as the first Robin, Dick set the precedent for the many Robins who followed him: Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne, etc. Rupert Thorne. First appearance, Detective Comics number 469, 1977. Bio: Rupert Thorne is one of Gotham's most infamous crime bosses. Unlike colorful supervillains, Thorne is a corrupt politician and mobster, deeply entangled in Gotham's underworld. Traits: ruthless, manipulative, politically connected. Notable actions: has run for mayor, influenced City Hall, and clashed repeatedly with both Batman and Commissioner Gordon. Legacy: a grounded Gotham villain, Thorne represents the corruption Batman cannot simply punch away. Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, Prime Earth. First appearance, Detective Comics number 58, 1941. Bio: Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot, known as the Penguin, is a Gotham mobster who blends high society sophistication with ruthless crime. Despite his short stature and bird-like features, he projects himself as a gentleman of class, often running criminal enterprises through his nightclub, the Iceberg Lounge. Abilities: criminal mastermind, skilled strategist, access to weapons concealed in umbrellas. Legacy: the Penguin is one of Batman's most enduring foes, balancing between a traditional mobster and a themed supervillain. The Joker, Prime Earth. First appearance, Batman number 1, 1940. Bio: the Joker is Batman's archenemy, a homicidal clown with a warped sense of humor. His origins are shrouded in mystery, sometimes a failed comedian, sometimes a criminal who fell into a vat of chemicals. Traits: master criminal, unpredictable genius, homicidal obsession with Batman. Notable stories: The Killing Joke, Death in the Family, Endgame, Three Jokers. Legacy: perhaps the most iconic comic villain ever created, the Joker is chaos personified, a mirror to Batman's order and discipline. Victor Freeze, Mr. Freeze, Prime Earth. First appearance, Batman number 121, 1959. Originally as Mr. Zero, reinvented as Mr. Freeze in later canon. Bio: Victor Freeze was a brilliant cryogenicist whose wife Nora developed a terminal illness. Attempting to save her through cryogenics, an accident transformed Victor, forcing him to live in sub-zero temperatures. He became Mr. Freeze, wielding a cold suit and freeze gun. Motivation: unlike many Gotham villains, Freeze is driven not by greed or power, but by the desperate love he has for Nora. Legacy: Mr. Freeze is a tragic figure in Batman's rogues gallery, caught between villainy and heartbreaking devotion.